What happens when a war that has already spread across borders suddenly sends hundreds of drones toward the heart of Russia? That is exactly what unfolded over the weekend, as Ukraine launched one of its largest aerial assaults of the conflict, with Russian authorities reporting more than 800 drones intercepted or neutralized across the country. But the numbers are only part of the story, because some of the targets reveal exactly how Ukraine is trying to change the way this war is fought. The attack reached deep into Russia, with drones reported over 17 regions, including areas around Moscow. Russian officials said 187 drones were shot down or neutralized over the Moscow region alone. And for residents there, the war was suddenly much harder to ignore. One of the most striking incidents involved a massive fire at a Wildberries distribution warehouse near Moscow, a facility covering roughly 250,000 square meters. Wildberries is essentially Russia's version of Amazon, so why would Ukraine target one of its warehouses? Kyiv says the company has connections to military logistics and has increasingly focused its long-range strikes on parts of Russia's economy that it believes help sustain the war effort. Ukrainian officials say 7 of Wildberries' 10 largest logistics centers have now been hit. Russia, meanwhile, has not accepted Ukraine's justification, and the exact military significance of each damaged facility remains difficult to independently verify. Then came another potentially important strike, this time in Russia's Rostov region. Ukrainian officials said a defense industrial enterprise producing solid rocket propellant for Russian weapons was hit. Russian authorities reported 5 deaths in the region, while another person, an 83-year-old man, was killed elsewhere in the Moscow region. That means this wasn't simply a symbolic attack aimed at making headlines. Ukraine is increasingly trying to reach the industrial and logistical machinery behind Russia's war. And here's where the bigger picture comes into focus. For much of the conflict, Russia had a major advantage in its ability to launch missiles and drones deep into Ukrainian territory. Now Ukraine is building a growing long-range strike capability of its own. Ukrainian officials have openly described expanding domestic production of long-range drones and other weapons, while saying the goal is to put pressure on Russian military infrastructure, energy facilities, and the economic system supporting the invasion. But while those drones were heading toward Russia, another deadly air war was unfolding over Ukraine. Russia continued its attacks with drones, ballistic missiles and other weapons, striking Kyiv, Kryvyi Rih, Kremenchuk and Sumy. Civilians were killed, and a major steel facility in Kryvyi Rih reported casualties among its employees. A book market in Kyiv was also hit, underscoring the devastating reality that even as both sides increasingly target military and industrial infrastructure, civilians remain caught directly in the middle. For Ukraine, one of the most serious problems is not simply the number of Russian weapons being launched. It's the type of weapons being used. Ukrainian officials say ballistic missiles remain particularly difficult to intercept because the country has a limited supply of the advanced interceptor missiles needed to stop them. President Volodymyr Zelensky has been pressing European partners to provide more air defense systems and interceptors, arguing that weapons sitting in storage cannot protect Ukrainian cities. And then this conflict produced another warning sign far beyond Ukraine and Russia. A drone entered Romanian airspace, and a Spanish F-18 operating under a NATO air policing mission shot it down. Romanian authorities said the drone entered from the direction of Moldova and that debris fell in an uninhabited area. It was the 4th drone reportedly shot down over Romanian territory this year, following earlier incursions linked by Romanian authorities to the war. That development matters because Romania is a NATO member. Every time a weapon or drone crosses into NATO airspace, the conflict becomes a little harder to contain geographically. This latest incident did not trigger a direct confrontation between NATO and Russia, but it shows how easily the consequences of the war can spill beyond the battlefield. And that may be the most important takeaway from this latest wave of attacks. Ukraine is demonstrating that it can send large numbers of drones deep into Russia, while Russia continues to rely heavily on missiles and drones to strike Ukrainian cities. The result is a rapidly expanding air war where distance provides less protection than it once did. More drones, deeper strikes, heavier pressure on air defenses, and now repeated incidents near NATO territory. The question is no longer whether the war can reach far beyond the front lines. It already has. The real question is how far this escalation goes before both sides decide that the cost has become too high. If you found this update helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Prime Wire, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest news. Thanks for watching.